Drive Energy Winner Circle Monday. Oh man, how great is it to see Rory McIlroy holding a trophy again, preparing for Valhalla, the site of his last one major 10 years ago. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into Chris Gotterup for another first time.
You think you say it that way?
Did I?
Gotterup.
Gotterup.
Got her up.
Put her down.
What I was gonna say, what about got her down?
Got her up, put her down.
Put her down, get her up.
Chris Gotterup's first PGA Tour win, now the 7th first-time winner on tour this year. Rose Zhang.
Including Rory.
Rose Zhang's, that's funny, win at the Cognizant. And
dominant.
Crazy that whole leaderboard.
Was wild.
And then also we're going to talk a little bit about Blades Brown. 3 weeks in a row, we've had a teenager burst onto the scene, and it just doesn't seem like it's stopping anytime soon. So, All right, let's tee it up. First of all, 10 years ago, Rory McIlroy won his last major. What were you doing 10 years ago to this day? So, 2014.
I was like really into golf at the time, and I think I was just about to like turn pro at that point, which went really well because I'm sitting here with you guys. I'm not playing golf any longer, so I mean in a professional capacity. I actually might try to play in a few events this summer, just to keep the game in shape, just to get the game going. But yeah, I think I was trying to play golf at that point. I was like a +4 or 5 handicap at the time, so I was a legit player. But fucking player. But now I'm, Father Time's undefeated. This body's not built for that kind of wear and tear.
Yeah, so
let's at the ripe age of 29 years old, I'm just fucking a battered man.
No, well, I'm laughing because thinking about you playing professional golf, like how much I saw the dedication that it took from you, and
to do it at such a low level is fucking actually impressive.
But for lack of a better term, you didn't get anywhere.
Yeah.
But let's clip this, by the way. But you did grind, and you were grinding a ton, and that relates me back to, so Friday, we went to Phoenix, had a great time in Phoenix, keeping it 100 Classic, second year of it. Full 120 people in the field, had some great giveaways, gave away a Pit Boss grill, which was awesome. Shout out to Pit Boss for that. But we rode around, and we always, that's 2 tournaments in a row I've just worked and just been riding around. And after it's all said and done, I feel great about it. I kind of feel sad about it the morning of. I'm like, I wish I was just going out and hitting the links right now. But it's so much less stressful to just be able to drive around. We used to love those days. Running tournaments where you got like 4.5 hours, empty shop. That's where we created the gold mine TikTok at Big Drive Energy Pod. If you're not following along, get familiar, because a lot of people are, about 55,000 people to be
roughly,
exact.
Give or
but
take.
We recorded a TikTok about people not being able to check into the scramble. And I'll go off on that for just 2 seconds because I want to relate this all the way back. I'm going to do a callback to my original, why we got on this topic.
Okay.
Shout out to the tourney. It was fun. But when you're checking in for a scramble, know your group. Know at least one name that you're playing with, for fuck's sake, because it makes our job so much harder. And I was low-key. I was selling Mulligans, which is it's not too bad. Having to say the same sentence 45 times in a row because people didn't read the email that I sent out on Wednesday before. It's fine, whatever. Most of my job is sending out emails and people not reading them, the masses of people that come to events. So I'm used to that, but saying the same thing over and over again gets a little tiring. But I was very glad I didn't have your job.
Yeah.
Because I was pulling a me of old when we worked together at the golf course, and I was 1 year on your conversations because not that you couldn't do it, but I was always panicked.
You set up the tournament.
Yeah, I was always panicked that a group was not going to be on the sheet, and then we're going to have to scramble.
Because if something goes wrong, I'm like, I just work here. I'm not, I didn't set this shit up. I'm not controlling anything. So if somebody wasn't on the sheet, that's when Spencer got the call over. I was like, yeah, this isn't my problem. Which is a great feeling to have because, yes, I dealt with quite a few people that did not know what the name was under. They don't know how to check in. Like one person can kind of check in for the group. I don't need to talk to 4 of you individually. Just that whole scenario, there is some sort of etiquette around checking in for a scramble. And if the first person's like, do we all need to, you could just ask, do we all need to check in? Am I good? Like, now that I checked us in, are we good? Because generally speaking, you can check in one person can check in the entire group. So yeah, it was a bit of a clusterfuck. And like the most stressful thing is when it always seems to get busiest about like 30 minutes before tee off. And then there's such a line that like the people in the back frickin' are like still in line with only 15 minutes left. And I'm like, what is, like, you guys just gonna go get in the cart and tee it up? So people just generally don't show up early enough to golf tournaments. But yeah, the whole check-in part's a little stressful.
It is. And yeah, I had one ear on your convo because I was like, I know somebody's going to be missing that I didn't put in. Luckily, that did not happen. There was one group of people that thought they had 8, like 2 foursomes. And I was like, they do not on my account, but it ended up not happening that way. All in all, went pretty smooth, got a lot of compliments. So that's always a good feeling because running events and golf tournaments specifically, which is more of my forte, you don't feel how smooth it feels from the customer side because you're not on that side.
Yeah.
But you see all the shit that you're fucking every fire you're constantly putting out during the event to make it not feel like it's rough.
You're like a duck. You're paddling hard underwater, but up top, everything looks like it's going great.
Hey, I like that. Exactly. Yeah. So we got good compliments. It felt like it went well. We didn't run out of pizza this year.
We almost did.
Almost did.
People, you want to see people at their lowest, you put them in front of an all-you-can-eat fucking buffet. Like, I watched dudes put like 8 pieces of pizza on their plate. I was flabbergasted. Like, and I get it. Free food is great. Don't get me wrong. And it necessarily wasn't free because they paid to be in the event. But then there's people legit coming up for seconds, like before people had even gotten to the line. It was just, we ended up with like 3 or 4 pieces of pizza left. So it was actually like the perfect amount. But half the time I was like, I already saw this motherfucker one time. Like I was like, this dude, get out of line, bro. And I didn't want to say anything. I didn't say anything to anybody, but I wanted to. So
yeah, Saul made me get on the mic and be like, hey, if you've gone through one, sit back down. You haven't gone through, because we like doubled our pizza order from last year. You weren't there.
No.
Pretty close. You weren't
Holy
there last
shit.
year, but we ran out pretty quick. And we had to end up buying food from the course for like multiple groups of people because we ran out of pizza. Shout out to Spinato's Pizza for hooking it up. Shout out to the Burrito Express guys. They took second place and brought some fire breakfast burritos. I indulged in one of those because I'm an old man now and I have to take my pills every morning.
Spencer goes, oh, this has cheese in it. I'm like,
yeah,
I fucking shit.
I
Every
consume
breakfast burrito ever has cheese in it.
Well, you would think that sometimes they would
go no,
because like if they're mass producing 130 breakfast burritos, maybe it's just a quick egg, meat, salsa type of thing. That would get everybody by. I don't think anybody would complain that there was.
But
no
you're not
cheese
just
in
trying
it.
to get people by. You're trying to exceed. And cheese is like the number one, unless you're dairy intolerant like you are. Cheese, everybody loves cheese. It's universally liked. Yes,
I
Marissa?
love breakfast burritos, but I don't like eggs.
Okay, so you just go meat. Do you like potatoes? Yeah, potatoes in the burrito are a must.
But I'll pick them out. Like, I won't eat them.
You'll pick the eggs out?
Yeah, like if I can.
I was going to say, how do you pick eggs out?
Sometimes, like if they're like Santiago's, I'll eat them because they're all mushy inside.
Yeah,
and they're really, and it tastes good enough, but like they're kind of gross.
So
see, that's wild.
You just like meat inside of a tortilla with some cheese.
I said potatoes too, dude.
So you would be more of like you're more of like breakfast quesadillas are really good, but no, you're shaking your head. I'm telling you what you like here.
This isn't a yes or no. This isn't a question.
I'm saying a breakfast quesadilla would be easier to make because it's like cheese is the base, and then you have the sausage or not pepperoni.
Yes, to be honest with you, I don't like it. Like I don't like a ton of breakfast food. Like I'm not a breakfast food person.
Well, yeah, you don't like eggs. That's that is.
But I like
breakfast.
Yogurt, and I like the fruit part, and I do like burritos that don't have eggs in them. Okay. And then if I had my choice, I would do lunch for breakfast.
Yeah. Well, I can't do that, but yes, I understand where you're coming from. But no eggs is rough.
Okay, I want to talk about some current events real quick. Are we done?
Let me get the call back.
Oh, okay.
All the way back to us driving around the course. You absolutely shit on me because I was in awe of Dobson Ranch's practice facility. And Mitchell straight up goes, I don't think I've seen you practice chipping for or ever.
I don't think I've ever seen you chip at a practice green.
And you're probably pretty close to right.
And it's wild because you're like, well, I always hit it so good. I'm like, see, that's the point though, is you go over there because he's like, then I get on the course and I hit it like shit. And I'm like, that is the point. Like, of course you can hit a good one on the chipping green because you're not thinking about it. You have no, goal in mind. You're just hitting to hit. And that's the same with you on the driving range. Can you turn down your volume, please?
Yep.
For fuck's sake. We're live currently, if you weren't aware.
Oh man.
But yeah, I've never seen you actually like practice putting or chipping. And I've really only seen you like hit balls. I've never seen you like grind on the driving range.
No,
I've seen you like the level of your golf warm up is or the level of your golf capacity is warm up for like 10 minutes and play golf. There's nothing. You're like our old ladies leaguers that are like, why don't I get any better? I'm like, we play 9 holes a week and that's it. You play less than that. Excuse me, and you don't practice. So
well, this will relate to the people. Is I warm up literally just to warm up on the driving range. I don't try to work on anything, especially before a round.
No, that's smart.
But I hit it so good on the driving range that I feel good going into the round, and then it completely takes a 180 on me.
But see, do you take anything away from do you realize why you're hitting it well?
Because I don't care.
No,
I don't care.
What mechanics are you executing that are making you hit it well?
I'm just making a move, trying to loosen up.
See, that's it. That is the problem. Is if you don't know why you're hitting it well, then you don't know why you're hitting it poorly. There's got to be some sort of actual object you're trying to achieve in order to. If I do this, this will happen. You just like swing at it, and if it goes correctly, it does, and if it doesn't, it doesn't.
And it just feels so good when I'm on the range, and I'm like, I'm dialed. 7 good irons in a row, maybe a couple drivers, and then I get up on the first tee and blow it 75 yards right.
You just sound like every 15 handicap.
Yeah,
like, well, I mean, your ball striking capability is actually like very high. Like watching you hit an iron shot when you're striping it, I'm like, this is like tour level shit. Like you can take this straight to the tour. But when it's going bad, you just have absolutely zero clue what's going on or how to fix it, which it blows my mind. You being like, it's crazy that you got to the level of golf that you got to, just having zero clue. And there's a lot of golfers that way. Like I talked to this back when I went to the Junior Ryder Cup Academy. I remember there's some very good, like better players than me there. I was probably like a scratch at the time. Like Doug Gim was there now on the PGA Tour. A few other like very high level players. And this one girl played golf at UNLV. She was like a top 10 in the nation amateur, and she started like hooking it, and we were talking, and she goes, I have no idea why I'm hooking it. And I'm like, and I told her like 2 things, and she goes, holy shit, how did you know that? I'm like, because I know what is happening in the golf swing. And maybe that's part of my downfall. Like I know I don't know too much, but I know a good amount, but I don't know everything. And that's an old Phil Mickelson saying, you either want to know everything or nothing, because you know just enough, it'll get you in trouble. And that's kind of where I was. But she legitimately had no idea why she was hooking the golf ball. And she was like working with David Pells at the time. And she very, very wealthy family. So I was like, yeah, whatever. You can go spend $500 an hour for me to tell you in 10 seconds what you're doing.
Yeah, you do have a knack for that. And it's pretty impressive watching you teach and you helping me. Like the few things we worked on last summer, I'm still keeping those things at the front of mind because I try to have like 1 or 2 swing thoughts, and those are it. And I feel like the last year I've had really decent rounds of striking the ball without putting a ton of effort into it. So hopefully I'm getting to play more.
You got to have a swing anchor. That's what everybody is looking for. So when you go out and warm up on the driving range, you're not necessarily working on your game, but you're trying to find a feeling that you can take to the golf course with you. So say it's your trail elbow, say it's your right hip, your trail hip turning back more. It's, where your head's located, where your spine is located. There's certain things that you can think of. And if you successfully execute that, then you'll hit good golf shots. And I think that is really what you're looking for in a warm-up. It's not necessarily working on your swing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Just trying to find something that you can go back to.
Exactly.
The anchor. Well, let's tell you guys, before we get to current events, let's tell you guys about one of my anchors in life, and that is beer, and that is Coors Light. I bought a kind of not a shade to Coors Light at all, but yesterday I was feeling the Coors Banquets, so I got me a sixer of the Coors Banquet bottles. Yeah, those are still one of the best nights I've ever had in my life in college. Just down to 6-pack of those, and I felt I don't remember a lot, you know that, just in general.
Yeah,
and then when
things stick out to you.
But that drunk that I had off 6 of the stubby bottles of Coors was one of the best drunks of my entire life.
Remember that night you guys climbed up on that excavator in college?
Yeah, we did get in trouble for that.
Did you actually get in trouble?
Cops came to the bookstore. 100%.
They're like, "You're here for me?"
Yeah, I was like, "Oh," I posted on Instagram. We got 12 likes. It was in fire.
It had one of those hooks like hang, like a chain and then like a hook on the end for like, I don't know if it was like moving steel or whatever, but Austin definitely like jumped up.
Yeah, we jumped up and
swinging
like
on the hook.
Apparently it's super illegal.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. You could have died.
Yeah, but I needed to chill in that moment with a Coors Light. You can chill with the coldest beer in the world, Coors Light. Whether you're juggling work, family, life in general, it gets chaotic, especially when you're checking in for a scramble. That's why Coors Light helps you find moments to rest and refresh and reset all year long. Whenever you need a reset, reach for the Coors Light. It is made to chill. Coors Light is by far my favorite beer. It's the only beer we drink out on the golf course. Get a sixer before we even head out there. Twist off cans, make it super easy. They don't spill all over the golf cart. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged. When it's time for a refresh, open up a Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment, crisp and refreshing as the Colorado Rockies Mountains, not the baseball team, even though they won 4 in a row. Shout out to the Rockies. When it's time to chill, Coors Light is the beer I reach for. When you want to hit the reset, grab the beer that's made to chill. Get it delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. One thing we definitely needed on Friday in the heat was our Shady Rays. I've got my Shady Rays on right now. We've got some new glasses coming our way. The new Green Wolf golf glasses. They're freaking amazing. Can't wait to try those bad boys on and take them out to the golf course. I did not forget. So I forgot shorts in my trip to Arizona. I forgot to pack shorts, but I did not forget to pack my Shady Rays, which is maybe the 1A thing I always forget to pack on a trip, because I'm usually leaving in the morning, so it's dark, so I don't think about sunglasses, and I
reminded you to grab sunglasses before we even left, correct?
You did, and I wish you would have reminded me to grab shorts, even though I didn't really have time to wear them.
This dipshit goes down to Arizona with no shorts, no swim trunks, no nothing. I spent 3 phenomenal days laying by the pool. It was lovely.
I did not get to lay by the pool. But
I was using my Shady Rays by the pool to keep those UV rays out of my eyes.
Yeah, Mitchell learned about UV this week. It was kind of crazy. Yeah.
Well, I'll get it. Finish your thing, and I'll tell you about it.
So Green Wolf golf glasses. Check out ShadyRays.com. Use that code AC, as in ALLCITY 35, and you're getting 35% off any pair of shades, especially the polarized one. That's a huge discount. They probably have a style in your teams or whatever activity you like to do, favorite color. I wear Shady Rays when I'm on the golf course or when I'm at the pool, which unfortunately was this past weekend, or when I'm working a golf tournament. And if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection program of all eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you don't love your shades, exchange them for a new pair for worry-free or a worry-free return within 30 days. So if you get them, they don't fit your face right, which a lot of sunglasses don't for me because I have a pinhead. You can ship them right back. There's no risk. You can order some new ones. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays giving out the best deal of the season. Head to ShadyRays.com. Use that code AC35 for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Also want to shout out Mitchell and the Bet365 app. Mitchell hit a top 12 this week, Maxi Homa. It was a rough week, and which we'll get into Rory here in a second, but makes it all that more impressive what he was doing. I was laser focused on our 6 guys, but I mean, Will Zalatoris shot 81 on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, this course, Quail Hollow, was tearing these dudes up. And so it's really impressive what Rory did. Xandered. But
only
Rory's
16 dudes under par.
Yeah, that's US Open level tough. Like every one of our guys was over par on Sunday. It felt like, other than Max, who holed out for the first hole for eagle. So when you start your round that way, you're definitely getting a top 12 and winning some money on the Bet365 app. So shout out to Mitchell, saved all of his side of the units. Mine was a big swing and a miss. So check out Bet365 and use the code ALLCITY at sign up, and you're going to get to choose between two offers of a first bet safety net of $1,000 or betting $5, getting $150 in bonus bets when you sign up with that code ALLCITY. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you're someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-GAMBLER will not give out free picks.
Do they actually have to put that in the disclaimer?
No, I just say that because I think it's funny.
No, I like that.
Yeah, you like that?
You like that?
Yeah, so we bet the each ways for golf. We're going to do it again for the PGA Championship. Make sure you're tuned in Wednesday. We got an early show, but I think we're workshopping our time releasing it right now. But I think we'll release it.
Like we're
maybe a little
workshopping it currently.
Yeah, actually, maybe we just go live, because last time we went live early before the Masters, people loved it.
9 a.m.
The people loved it. So we're gonna give
the people what they want.
Marissa's gonna be double fisting venti coffees. We're gonna be ready to roll at 9 a.m. Wednesday morning. So make sure you tune in for that as we preview the PGA Championship. All right, current events. Let's get into something you've got to say.
Well, so Roaring Kitty is back. Do you know who Roaring Kitty is? The movie. Oh, it's a movie. The Big Short. Nope, that's a different movie. But I actually look up Roaring Kitty movie. Just Google it. Not text right now. Okay. So GameStop and
He's
AMC.
just an American financial analyst and investor.
No, Roaring Kitty movie.
Oh.
It's what is this movie called?
GameStop, Rise of the Players.
No, that's incorrect.
Diamond Hands?
Dumb Money. There we go. It's called Dumb Money.
Oh, okay.
So basically this dude led this internet revolution of because everybody was shorting AMC, and I'm just gonna sound like a total like simple lame brain, like I have mush in my head. But he basically started this internet revolution against the big institutions, because all the investment bankers, everybody was shorting AMC and GameStop and driving their price way down in order to like bankrupt them, because you can make a shitload money doing that. But he basically got the entire internet on board, all the public or all the casual traders, I forget the specific term, whatever, but they fought against the institutions, and the stock shot through the roof. So he hadn't tweeted in 3 years since this whole AMC GameStop scenario. This morning he tweets a meme of, there's a dude like sitting back in his chair with a gaming controller, and then it shows him like sitting up and focusing. He tweets that, and AMC and GameStop. So I actually got in on AMC. AMC was up 80% today just because of that tweet, and GameStop was up 74% today. So I actually bought AMC at $3.80. It is now at $5.20. So I mean, I don't care. I'll disclose how much money. I'm not an expert, by the way. I'm up like $700 or $800 today.
Allegedly, all this allegedly.
Yeah, I'm fucking not an expert whatsoever. But after hours, it's up another like 19% as it stands right now. So AMC's like shooting through the roof. GameStop, they stopped trading on it again. Like just the scumbags that they are. But it almost made me think like of like everybody thought AMC was dead. It started tanking once again. Like it was getting down. It got down to like $2 and something cents a share, when earlier this year it's $62. It's gone that far down. So now it is climbing its way back up. And it kind of made me think of like the Nuggets and the Pacers a little bit. Like everybody counted them out. Everybody thought they were dead. And here they are. They're leveling the playing field once again. So I just that was a current event I wanted to talk about, because it is like so addicting looking at your phone and the stock just keeps going up and up and up. And you're like, holy shit, this is electric. And stocks usually do not do that. I'm not an expert, by the way. I just wanted to say that one more time. but it is like addicting when you're just like, holy shit, like this just keeps. And I was in on AMC the first time and I got out way too quickly. And kind of got bent. I think I bought it like $15 and lost a few hundred beans, and I was like, I'm getting out. So, but diamond hands this time. I'll discuss this when this stock hits $50 a share. I'll slip each you guys $100 bill.
Love that. Love that. Stock market
corner.
Stock market corner of the day.
Well, and also it's so we can almost compare. Whoa. I just got a fucking bubble in my throat and I couldn't talk. I honestly thought I might throw up too. We can compare Rory to this stock a little bit because everybody thought he was dead, counted him out, including myself. And he comes back and wins this week in a crazy fashion. And shocker, I still think he's dead. I don't think this means nothing to me. Like, this is like the most worthless win. For Rory, he's an elite player. Everybody holds him to this standard of being elite, winning majors, winning memorable events. And this is like the perfect event for him to win because it means something, but it really means nothing. Like reverse psychology, it almost hurts that like he won this event in my mind for him because so he's done this. He's won 25% of the time in tournaments leading up to a major and on a course that he's won at or played at. There's some statistic like that, but he's won a significant amount of events the week before a major. And that might encapsulate like Rory McIlroy's career. Like he may never win another major, which would be absolutely insane, but he wins these events and he makes that run on the back nine that gives everybody the hope that he's all the way back. And same with like going back to Nuggets, Pacers, everybody overreacting on Twitter like, holy shit, he's going to run away with the PGA. He's going to just all these crazy hot takes. And another dude tweeted, what if Patrick Cantlay strong arming him out of the policy board? It makes him go on this insane career run. I'm like, what, dude? He just won one fucking event. Like everybody just loves to take it so much further than it needs to go.
Is there an asterisk on this event because
No
Scotty
Taylor
Scheffler was not in the field?
Oh, well, Scotty Scheffler's wife finally gave birth. Like,
congrats to them.
Was that bun in the oven for like 11 months? That thing, we were talking about this early April.
No, I think when they were just they were looking for stories.
Oh,
they were engaging in farming
100%,
stories.
Yeah. They would be they would be banned from Twitter if they were on Twitter because they were just farming engagement.
Scotty Scheffler's newborn son, we'll call him Baby Scoot. He is already a top 20 ball striker on the PGA Tour.
I didn't really get what you meant when you said PGA Tour.
You want to hear the actual? I didn't know it was a boy. I didn't read the tweet and when he said his foot, so I wanted to be inclusive.
Holy shit!
If it was a girl, I mean, he's not going to be on the PGA Tour. She.
Well, yes, no, that is a fact. But I was just like, what was going on there?
Yeah, no,
it was so clearly a boy.
Yeah, like, I wasn't aware of it.
Yeah, so that's where I was
cooking that for weeks, and
and you couldn't even wait to see the gender.
No, once it happened, I didn't want to lose it, so I was so excited that I threw the tweet out there.
Well, and then he came out with like a little bit of like his foot was like scuffed up on the outside. Yeah. And somebody was like, he's like sliding his feet like his dad.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
You didn't think of that?
No.
Oh my god.
Because I'm telling you,
because you were cooking up that stupid fucking tweet for a month.
It wasn't stupid. It was a good idea.
I mean, it was relatively decent, but yeah, the baby's gonna be a machine, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But what do you know the actual name? They must have put out the name.
No, dude. They're
just Google Scotty Scheffler's son.
They're very quiet people.
They're very private people. He's such a good superstar.
Bennett
Scheffler.
Bennett Scheffler. That's a dope name. I have a nephew named Bennett that just was born.
That's 2 last names. Bennett Scheffler.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually like the name Bennett, but it's definitely a 2 last name type of scenario.
Yeah. So is there an asterisk because Scotty wasn't there?
Yeah, for sure.
And
I will say though, the run that we talked about how tough Quail Hollow was, and I'm not saying Scotty couldn't have done that, but it was very, very hard. It wasn't like, and Rory ran away with it. That's what makes me think. I just gleeked like across the room. That's what makes me think that maybe Rory could have even beat Scotty.
Well, all right. So I'm going to play devil's advocate because you're clearly not in on Rory, and you said this win actually almost hurts him, which I get your reasoning. I actually do. But do you think that he, by winning this event, is not like you have to bet on him coming up this week, right?
No.
Like
no.
It's one of those scenarios for me.
If he wins, hate yourself.
Yeah, because he won 10 years ago today at this time of the year, same golf course. He's clearly hot, relatively hot. But all right, take your hate out for just a minute. How impressive was that win? Xander Schauffele's not a no-name. There was a bunch of high-profile PGA Tour names up there, and he ran away and hid. He didn't just win. It wasn't
the biggest stage. It was a regular season game.
It was a first-round playoff game.
Okay.
It wasn't a championship, but it was a first-round playoff game.
Rory McIlroy is Joel Embiid then. He stuffs the regular season stat sheet. Everybody thinks he's the GOAT. He's going to win the big one. And then he does the same shit at majors year in, year out. Runs out of gas. Joel Embiid definitely runs out of gas. Rory's a lot more physically fit, but it feels like he mentally... I mean, we saw, going back to full swing, Rory, after the U.S. Open last year, he goes, do I just need a full teardown and like remodel of my golf swing? Like he's basically done. Like, and maybe he's in a different place now, but he was done like doing what he was doing. He's like, I'm getting the same result over and over again. And I've talked about like the technicalities of his golf swing and what he's struggled with, but he mentally, I think it's definitely a huge burden on him. One of the funnier comments that he made after the round, he goes, me and Shane won that team event. It really gave me a lot of confidence. Like, imagine getting springboarded by a team event as a golfer in order to go out and win more. I mean, good on him. Let's get into that back nine because he went nuclear. He eagled both of the par fives. He was 6 under through the first 6. They went to number 8. Him and Xander went to number 8, tied. And by 15, he had a 6-shot lead. So, yes, Xander definitely, Reggie Miller meme.
He Alexandered it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, for those of you who don't know, Xander's actual name is Alexander. Anybody that is named Alexander and doesn't go by Alex, who do you think you are?
Yeah, see, I'm on the other side of this. I think there's how many Alexes do you know? 1 million.
Yeah.
How many Xanders do you know? 0.
But it makes me think like Lil Xan, like Xanax, like you're trying to be like a rapper.
Oh, dude, I was pretty shocked to find out his real name is Alexander, but I actually really fuck with Xander versus Alex.
I fuck with it, but it's just almost too like hipster. Like you're trying to do too much. Also, I know I'm not like an English professor, but how is an X pronounced as a Z? Or is his name Xander?
Well, Alexander.
Xander? Like
it is.
You gotta have, it's not just Xander because then that's Zander.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Xander.
Xavier. Like.
Okay. Xavier. Xander.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Xander Schauffele. Yeah. So I don't know. He's definitely on the shit list. Like we don't even need to put him on the blacklist. We haven't added we haven't added anyone to that in a hot minute, which I feel like we might do.
Well, no, I've got a guy.
Okay.
Seamus. Back-to-back weeks. He was on my card. Back-to-back weeks. He stuck it in my Seamus. He
gave it to you right in the Seamus.
He shamelessly powered me.
But see, I think that's your fault. You pick fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
I'm trying to corroborate the blacklist. Like I'm trying to add to this. I'm trying to get reasons to hate guys, or they win the next week after I picked them once, and then I love them forever. I'm gonna get Akshay Bhatia tattooed on my back.
Just get Bhatia in big letters, like you're trying out for the NFL.
Like I'm a high school wrestler.
Yeah, exactly.
My own name.
Real true story. My girlfriend saw his name and she said Seamus. Because it is actually SCA, like C, Seamus.
Oh, yeah.
But
I've probably called him Seamus on the pod. Like once
if you
or
don't
twice.
live under a rock, you know, it's Seamus, which is what do you think? First thing do you think when you hear the name Seamus?
Well, I just think Ireland now.
Well, isn't Seamus? Seamus is the character with the peg leg and Family Guy.
Okay, I don't watch a ton of Family Guy,
and he's fucking funny. So that's Seamus to me. Like, I forget his last name, but that's what I think when I think Seamus. Okay, we'll add Seamus to the blacklist, but Xander isn't even worth putting on the blacklist because we just don't bet him because we know he's going to win. And once again, I'm going to do a callback to these dipshits on social media telling me I don't know how golf odds work and sports betting odds work. When's the last time Xander Schauffele won a tournament? And he's in the top 5 of every single betting odds list in every tournament. You think that they're putting him up there because of his recent performance? No, they're putting him up there because they know he's going to get bet. So once again, you complete dipshits. That is why they put Tiger Woods up near the top, even when he has a leg and a half to stand on, because they know he's going to get heavily bet.
He won in 2022. He won the Zurich Classic as teammates. Then he won the Travelers and the Genesis Scottish Open. So hasn't won since July of 2022.
Okay, so he's going on 2 years winless. Still in the top of every single odds maker. That's just how it goes. Like, if you guys need a lesson on how odds work, maybe we could do an odds workshop. Maybe we just sit down, hash it out, how they do this shit. And I mean, now Rory, they finally got one right with Rory. And he's going to be like plus 600. Like, I wish there was actually an option to, I guess there kind of is. You bet on him to miss the cut. But I was going to say, like, shorting a stock, I'd like to, like, I'm very bearish on Rory, which it basically means you don't like him.
Well, yeah, we all knew that, but
I mean, I wouldn't bet against him. Like last week, I wouldn't bet against him, but this week for sure.
Okay, let's get you to at least say something semi-nice about Rory. Let's say he would have lost this tournament. Like, he would have been where he was at and kind of faltered on Sunday. Would that have given you more? You're not betting him anyways. Pretend you are. Just put your mind in a blender of, I'm betting Rory McIlroy at the PGA Championship at Valhalla.
I don't see any way that I would be convinced to bet on Rory McIlroy this week.
Okay.
Unless he was in a 3-person field.
Okay. Well, let me finish my statement.
Okay.
If you were at a 0 for betting him before, are you at least a little higher after he dominated the back 9, didn't falter, and won at a tough course signature event with a pretty good high name profile field?
I'd say I'm still somewhere near a 0. I'm pretty low because
he is plus 700 on the.
Oh my god!
And Scotty Scheffler's plus 400.
Oh well, that's actually
on the Bet365.
That's much better money.
Who do you think is third?
Xander.
Yeah, plus 1,200.
Oh my god, that's what.
And then Brooks Koepka at plus 14, Rahm at plus 14 as well. Funny thing I did see going into the PGA Championship is Rory McIlroy, Brooks Koepka, and Scotty Scheffler have all won their last tournament that they played in going into the PGA Championship.
That's not secret news.
No, it's not secret. I'm just saying I saw it and I thought it was interesting because
we'll
that's 3 very high profile names.
Yeah, no, I think this win for Rory was more great for the storylines of the PGA. Whether I think anything's going to come of it, I do not.
Well, every time I'm pretty sure his last win. We're taking out the team event. Was his last win before the team event the RBC Canadian? Like 2 years ago?
It was didn't he win the Tour Championship last year? Or no, that was
Victor Hovland.
I think he won, or yes, maybe it was since 2022 he hadn't won.
All right, because I have a point to get to here if this is correct.
Oh, okay. Let's see, you make your point.
He's got 26 tour victories or pending. No, he won the Scottish Open and the CJ Cup and the Tour Championship in 2022. But
the Genesis Scottish Open was 2023.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Well, you said okay.
Yeah.
So since 2022, he's won the Scottish Open.
He's won, after 2022, he's won.
Maybe
the Scottish
Xander
Open.
and Rory, all they can win is the Scottish Open. and events that don't matter.
Me recalling back to that 2022 win of the RBC, that was the week that he came out and then a bunch of people were talking shit and he's like, no, I'm a fucking PGA Tour player. I'm not a live player. No, remember? He's like, I'm not going to live. I'm not doing that. And then he backed it up with the win at RBC. This week, they slight him for the player policy board and he backs it up with a win. I'm not saying he's going to win the PGA Championship. All I'm saying is that maybe he was, and as corny as it sounded for him to get the monkey off his back, winning again with Shane Lowry, a guy that talented, maybe that's what he needed. We see it on the lower level all the time with guys that need the belief. Cam Young, that fucking guy, all the talent in the world, but until you win, you know, and it's almost like Rory's had separate careers. Now, I guess he won the Tour Championship in 2022, so it's not that far back
removed.
But it feels like these last 2 years he's been like waiting to win the Masters, waiting to win another major, which has been a while. But honestly, now that I kind of think about it, like showing up and winning a major, is winning the Tour Championship more impressive because you have to play good multiple weeks in a row versus one good week? Or is it like, what's more impressive to you, winning a Tour Championship after 3 weeks of like keeping yourself in X place and then winning the tournament to win the whole thing, or showing up 1 week and winning a major and then not playing well the rest of the time?
I think winning a major. Well, at the end of the day, I mean, we've discussed this and everybody in the golf world knows that the majors are what everybody really cares about. Like, do you think 10 years from now, Rory's going to be like, oh yeah, you remember that Tour Championship I won? Like, the Tour Championship's more about money. So basically Rory's a live player at that point if he's just winning the events where you can win the most money, because that's all the Live Tour really is. And that's all the PGA, the FedEx Cup playoffs really are. There's no memorable, oh, remember this victory. It's like the in-season tournament. Like, nobody really gives a fuck. It's just a nice little pat on the back. And it's a lot of money. More for the FedEx Cup because they do pay buku dollars. But no, Rory, ultimately, we have our preview on Wednesday, so we'll get into it. But he needs this for his career to be relevant once again, because he has been the most irrelevant golfer of the last decade. He wins these events that make us think he's back. And I think that's the toughest thing about these hardcore Rory fans is you watch him play the back nine yesterday and you're like, this right now would beat anybody in the world.
Yeah. Why is he not going on a Scotty Scheffler run?
Yes, exactly. I mean, and we saw it 10 years ago when he went on that major run. We're like, nobody can beat this guy. And he is, I would put him and Scotty Scheffler neck and neck with like ball striking talent. And Rory's the best driver. I've said it multiple times. I think the best driver of the golf ball I've ever watched. And that is kind of the crazy thing is he's got all these different opportunities in the fairway and he's hitting. Yesterday, there was a 530-yard par 4 he hit driver gap wedge. Like 530. I'm hitting fucking driver probably hybrid. Or if I'm lucky. Like, that's, and it is downhill, but when you hit it that far and you drive it that well, he has so many more opportunities than all these other dudes. And he ultimately, I said it a few weeks ago, he needs to hit his short irons and wedges better. And when he does that, and Valhalla, one note, the fairways are pretty wide and the greens are pretty small. So if Rory starts missing greens at Valhalla with wedges, the pressure is going to mount, the frustration is going to mount. It could go sideways for him. So ironically enough, even though it's one of the longest courses they're going to play all year, the wedge game, I think, for him is what's really going to make the difference, because at the end of the day, he drives it on a pretty consistent basis, right up there with the best in the world on a week in, week out basis. So that's the biggest frustration, I think, as a Rory fan, is watching this dude make the run he made yesterday and being like, where's that been? Like, we see it maybe once a year or maybe twice a year if we're lucky, but it's ultimately the consistency that Scotty has shown these last few years that Rory has not, is what really like sets them apart. And Scotty's a dad. That they always get the baby bump. It's a known fact. Like, Scotty could maybe win this thing by a dozen.
Wow. Okay.
Bookmark that shit.
Bookmark it.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it. And Michael Block's going to shoot 92 both days. I'm so sick of that dumb motherfucker.
All right, let's move on to the opposite field event. Of course, these are awesome for the guys that get to win it. That work to win it because that changes their career now. Yeah. Chris Gotterup's headed to the PGA Championship. Real quick, want to give a shout out to third straight week we've had a amateur under the age of 17 make a cut on a PGA Tour sanctioned event. So this is 2 weeks in a row now that it's on the actual PGA Tour. Last week it was Chris Kim. This week it was Blades Brown, greatest name of all time. Of course, 2 weeks ago it was Miles Russell. And basically these guys are just like, we've seen 2 records broken. Miles Russell became the youngest player ever to make a Korn Ferry Tour event. Then last week, Chris Kim became the youngest player to make a tour event cut in 11 years, at 16. Now Blades Brown looks at Chris Kim and is like, you're a child. I've been driving my car for 7 months. You just got your license. And so another 16-year-old making the cut on the PGA Tour. I don't know how it said. I read an article. He was inspired by Jordan Spieth, so that's great. Him and James can hang out together.
Sick.
But he got to meet Jordan Spieth at the Masters, and that's how you know, like, you always think like, oh, these kids, yeah. You're like, oh, these kids, where do they come from? Do they just grind at their like West Texas driving range and hit balls in the wind all the time?
This is not a tin cup story.
Yeah, no. He's like, yeah, I was at the Masters and Jordan Spieth came up to me and then really inspired me at 12. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, his dad's probably like the CEO of Wheels Up or some shit. Like he's taking the PJ down to Augusta. I mean, and this is like a name thing too, but we've talked about, not necessarily on the pod, but personally, like you don't name your kid Champ or Boss or any of these Blades. You don't name your kid Blades unless he's destined for like great things. So out of all these, I think there should be a meme created like choose your fighter. And it's all like the 16-year-olds that have made the cut at the or the Korn Ferry or the PGA Tour events. Cause that'd be a good meme. But Blades, I'm the highest on just purely based on his name. Like, Cavity Backs Brown is somewhere punching air. Like you're never going to be elite.
Hybrid Brown.
Cleveland Launcher Brown. Launcher Irons Brown. But no, it's insane, dude. These guys are just so freaking good at such a young age. Just don't peak too early. You got a long career ahead of you. But let's talk about Chris Gotterup for a second because a lot of good golfers come out of New Jersey. A lot of athletes come out of New Jersey. So he's from Little Silver, kind of a cool name for a town, Little Silver, New Jersey. So he went to Rutgers. He was the Big Ten Player of the Year, transferred as a redshirt senior to Oklahoma, won the Haskins Award, which is like the National Player of the Year. So he was, relatively speaking, like a can't miss prospect in golf. And he actually won the New Jersey State Open in 2019. So, I mean, any state open is not an easy, like state opens are a good, tough test. So the fact that he won that, so that was 5 years ago. I mean, he was probably in his early 20s at the time. So the dude is clearly just a baller. And I looked at his strokes gained because he's got kind of an odd move. Like he's almost got a move, like, you know how I kind of like snap it down behind me a little bit. He's kind of got the same type of move, but he creates so much more speed than I do. Like I saw with the driver, he's up in the high 180s. Like all these dudes are nowadays that come out. But he's top 10 in the PGA Tour in strokes gained putting. So once again, drives it well, putts it well. You're going to find results on the PGA Tour. I will say, though, this is his only top 10 and 13 starts on the PGA Tour this season. So good for him. But that's what alternate events are all about because you never know where this is going to spring Chris Gotterup's career to.
Yeah, well, special shout out to Alistair Doherty. He basically was given $15,000 to be able to play in this event after he had a good event at the last opposite field event, I believe. And so
he was given $15,000.
Yeah, like he was living in his car.
Oh,
he wasn't able to play in this event. Somebody gifted him the $15,000 to be able to play in this tour event.
He got a sponsor's exemption.
Exactly. And so then he gets second. T2. Yeah. So now he's gonna just try to parlay that into an insane, basically a PGA Tour career. He's got Korn Ferry Tour status, but now he's gotten the few sponsors exemptions, gotten enough money to be able to do this, and now is sending it there. But Chris Gotterup, like you said, a name that is not that familiar, and maybe it might get familiar, but it's kind of crazy when you go from a national player of the year in college to making, never even top 10ing on the PGA Tour to a win.
Yeah.
It's just like,
it's a big
it's like
jump.
the Avalanche and Nuggets right now. Just like win, we're higher here. Oh, lose, series is over. Oh, win. Oh, we're going to win the series. Oh, we're going to win the title.
Well, and that's what makes it more impressive that like what Ludwig Aberg has done, because he was like a can't miss, started winning right out of college. And I don't think a lot of people understand like how hard that is to do, because look at Chris Gotterup, literal national player of the year 4 years ago, wins one alternate field event. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I think he's going to have a solid career, but he was the literal best player in college 4 years ago. And now he's just now emerging as a PGA Tour winner. So, I mean, great for him. It seemed like the Myrtle Beach event was really good as like an alternate field event. And I think he won by 6. So he dominated. Like there's just no questions asked. He was on a heater, and we'll see what he can do. Here's a hot take. I think Chris Gotterup will finish higher than Rory McIlroy in the PGA Championship.
All right.
You can clip that shit.
Unfortunately, Nelly Korda's insane run has come to an end at the LPGA Cognizant Founders Cup in Clifton, New Jersey. You know where that is at?
Yeah, no, it's very close. I think, what course did they play? Was it Baltusrol?
No.
Cognizant.
Upper Montclair Country Club.
Oh, okay. Missy's sister teaches at Montclair or University of Montclair.
Oh, nice.
So
okay.
It's like very close.
So yeah, Nelly Korda just falls short of setting the solo winning streak record. Her reign ends at 5. Shout out to Rose Zhang. Rose Zhang, similar to Chris Gotterup, she's the most decorated amateur female golfer in history, and then won her first ever LPGA Tour start, and it's kind of been valley since then.
Yeah.
Now she's won back on the LPGA Tour, but I think we kind of touched on a little bit earlier. It's insane looking at this leaderboard, because she ended up birdieing 4 of the last 5 holes to erase a 2-stroke deficit against Madeline Sagstrom, but they were at 24 and 22 under respectively, and the rest of the field didn't even get to double digits.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, that must have been just like, I bet all these other girls, let's see where Nelly finished at 7 under, but it's like they're playing a separate event. And that's kind of how the PGA Tour event was this week, or the I should say the signature event, the Wells Fargo, where it's like, it's going to be Rory or Xander. Everybody else is playing for that 3rd place check, which is still pretty good, but no one was actually, after even mid-Saturday, no one else was a threat to win that event. So shout out to Rose Zhang, Madeline Sagstrom as well, because can you imagine beating 99.9% of the field by 13 shots and not winning a tournament?
Yeah.
Like, there's that one person that just absolutely dominated you, and
golf is so hard.
She shot 69 the final day, and Rose, like I said, birdied 4 of the last 5 to win it. So
shoot 66 final round,
pretty solid. All right, before we get out of here, we're obviously going to do our Mulligan of the Week, Monday Mulligan of the Week. Real quick, though, we do want to do our giveaway. So we're doing our giveaway live here on the podcast. So we've got the Blue Tees Player Plus speaker. You had to be following us on Instagram. If you're not, get on that. We'll be doing more giveaways like this at Big Drive Energy Pod. And we've got the winner of our Blue Tees Player Plus speaker randomized. Shout out to wask.co/Instagram-giveaway-comment-winner picker. Just being fully transparent here. And that winner is going to Instagram user at Real Estate Golfer 5. So at Real Estate Golfer 5, let's just double check here. Let me find him. Real Estate.
Give us a horn.
Oh yeah, let's put him up on the screen.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, all right. Will Skinner. Shout out to Will Skinner. We will DM you if you're listening. Obviously, DM us, but we'll follow you back and DM you. You won the Player Plus speaker. We'll reach out to you right now. Congratulations. Keep following us on Instagram, Twitter, at Big Drive Energy Pod on Insta, at Big Drive Energy on Twitter. We'll be doing more giveaways like this with Blue Tees with different companies throughout the summer. So make sure you're getting in on that. All right. Mulligan of the week. I'll start it out.
Let's hear it.
So Saturday, day before Mother's Day, went to Ace Hardware. Took my son, took my wife. He was in a wagon, open wagon we just got from the internet. Pretty stoked about this purchase. Can take him to the zoo. And we were walking to the Ace Hardware, and I should have known that something bad was going to happen because I turned around and he looked like fucking Captain Jack Sparrow on the front of the wagon, just standing on it with his hands on the front, just like this, just as I'm pulling him. Pretty incredible. But I was like, dude, you got to sit down. So
I'm sure he listened.
No, he didn't. Long story short, we get to Ace Hardware. We're both looking at plants, back turned to the wagon that he's sitting in. Turn around. He is upside down, out of the wagon, head on the concrete. Big bump, big scratch. Super unfortunate situation came out of that.
Saw dog straight to concussion protocol.
Yeah, he went to concussion protocol. We checked his eyes. We had him follow the finger. Seemed to be okay. Was in good spirits after a good 20-minute
Take him
yelp.
to the medical tent.
20-minute scream outside the Ace Hardware by the flower section. Thank God we weren't inside anywhere. But no, he is okay. But now...
Dude, he's just banged up. Like, he's Big Ben.
Yeah, he's
got bruises all over his head.
Yeah.
And that's how little kids should be, right?
Yeah, he's crawling now. He's got teeth now. It's just this whole 10-month scenario is just absolutely devouring him.
Just being a dad.
And he's devouring our lives. So now I got to watch him at all times. Keep my eyes on it. I do have a funny note here. I picked up our Peter putter yesterday. And picked it up from our friend Austin's house because we're going to do some content with the Peter putter. Do you know what that is? Yeah. So she looks thrilled. So picked that up and left it in the back of my wife's car.
Okay.
She was daycare sitting today and found the fucking dick putter. So this 10-year-old dick putter.
She think it was like a sex machine.
I don't know. We're about to find out what the repercussions are, but
She's like,
what's
this
semi
back here.
Yeah, I'm in
that's actually pretty funny.
Decent trouble for leaving that in the back seat. So that should have been my Mulligan of the week next week.
There you go.
You got a twofer.
No, that's great. For the people. I love it. So my Mulligan of the week, I bought a different car last month. Waited till the last minute to register it. So I bought it from a.
Oh, hold on. Can I interject? Sorry.
Yeah.
Real quick. You said different car.
It's a new car.
Yeah. Your car is actually new.
Yes.
But I actually get annoyed when I say I got a new car and people are like, "Oh, so it's a 2024."
Oh,
like I think that's annoying. Like if somebody says they got a new car, I don't care if it's a 1920 fucking Corvette. Yeah. You got it's new.
I don't think Corvettes
it's new to you. You know, like I don't think anybody just says I bought a used car. Like no, it's a new car.
Yeah, no, I got a new car.
Yeah.
To me,
yeah,
like, that's generally. But my car was actually new.
Yeah, your other car.
But
go
that
on.
Was
sorry.
Stupid. This is my first time ever buying a new car, and it will be the last. And I won't get into semantics, but basically the used car market's so fucked up that it costs me less to buy a new car than it would have to buy a used one. So I got rid of the Audi. I got a new RAV4, very nice car. I enjoy it. I'm in the Toyota gang now, but I bought it from a dealership in Indiana. I had a hookup. They gave me a good price on it, this and that. So they had to send my paperwork to the DMV that's nearest to the one off Monaco. It was like nearest to me, whatever. So they send it. It gets lost in the mail. It takes like 2 weeks to get here. I'm out of town when it gets here last week. So this morning I was like, here we go. I got to suck it up and go fucking sit at the DMV. I walk in and there's like, if there's not many cars in front of the DMV, you know you're fucked because it's probably not open because it's always busy. So I walk in and there's like a security rent-a-cop sitting there. He goes, oh, this DMV's closed for the week. The entire week. I'm like, what the fuck? And he goes, you can go to these locations. I'm like, my paperwork is only here. And he goes, well, you got to come back next week. I said, I'm leaving next week for months. He said, well, I don't know what to tell you. So basically the DMV is if we didn't already know, it was the worst fucking devil's asshole in the world. Now we know for sure it is, because who gets to close for a week? What kind of government agency's like, yeah, this week we're just closing? And then if I get a ticket, oh my God, I am going to go nuclear.
Well, luckily your car won't be driven.
Yeah, it won't be on the road, but I try to do a good thing. I actually try to go register my car on time. Closed for the week, not the day, the week. So Mulligan of the week, just fucking dealing with the DMV. They're the biggest joke in the world. Marissa?
You
Heard
ready?
you have a juicy one.
I
Mulligan,
do.
Marissa coming in hot.
So we've talked about my anger on the road. It also applies to parking lots.
Okay.
And we were coming out of the grocery store. I had just bought a flower for my grandma for Mother's Day.
Nice.
So I was like somewhat in a good mood, you know. I was gonna do something nice. And I have anxiety around my car getting hit because I think it literally attracts any door, or I've had to like fix that thing a million times. So I park really far away in the parking lot. Like I'm that lady. So I'm going to my car and there's this really shitty car. It's on the line. I can barely get into my car. I'm not a huge person as it is, and I'm still like trying to like suck my way into my car. Well, I'm so irritated. I'm like, ugh. I was like, how do I park so fucking far away from the grocery store and I park next to the shittiest car in the lot? Well, the person was outside of their car smoking a cigarette. So I'm like,
did you get it back in? Did you ever consider getting back in the car and just moving it?
No, well, I had parked first.
Yeah.
Oh,
and that person, yeah. And so,
I see.
Wow, we didn't interrupt my story, dude.
Sorry, go on.
And so I didn't see her. She comes around the front, and Christian's in the passenger seat, and he's like, God damn it, Marissa. And I was like, and she's like trying to get me to roll down my window. I like roll it down like an inch, and she's like cussing me out. She's like, you're an entitled blank blank, like F you, like you're a piece of shit.
Whoa.
It's your cars that like mess up my car. So then Christian, who never ever gets into confrontation, like ever, turns around and he goes, dude, you're missing like half your door in the back. He's like, your car is shitty. And so she gets more upset and he goes, but I love your bumper sticker, dude. And so she's all upset. She's staring at my car. She's like, you better watch your back. I mean, she was like this tall. But yeah, so I felt really bad because I'm not that mean of a person to like shit on someone's car, but it was quite embarrassing.
Did you consider just apologizing?
Well, yeah, until she called me an entitled bitch, and then after that, I was like,
when
okay.
she took it that,
yeah,
like if she would have been like, that hurt my feelings that you said that about my car.
Yeah.
I mean, generally, why is everybody just so predisposed to just be enraged on the road?
Well,
and just in general, like you just have
in and around cars.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you should never. I'm gonna give you like let you feel better, maybe, but you should never be mad about talking shit about someone's car. It's fair game. If somebody passes you in a piece of shit, I call that piece of shit out every single time.
That's what Christian said.
Yeah.
Christian's like, it was a piece of shit car.
Yeah.
So like he goes, my car's not nice. If someone was like, your car's shitty, he's like, I would have been like, yeah, you're
exactly.
right. Like,
you call a fucking spade a spade. The thing I will say though is you did mess up by, I mean, it's in the moment, but that could have been when you could have been viral on Twitter. You know how they have like the knock on the window and then some white trash person, then it's like Karening or going viral. God, you could have got
and her bumper sticker, because Christian had mentioned it as we were walking up, it was like, don't judge my pit bull and I won't judge your chihuahua or something like that. And I literally judged her car. But I mean, I felt bad because I'm not a shitty person, and I definitely like opened my mouth really loud thinking I was fine, and then
everybody has shitty moments. It's okay, but that's pretty funny, honestly.
Well, I mean, I'm sure
when you say that shit in the media, you're like, "Yo, I just fucked up."
Well, and I'm sure Christian's like, I'm sure she's gonna find you. You have like Western crap all over the back of your car. He's like,
your car's New Mexico.
Yeah, like I'm sure if she was upset
enough. Be advertising what your car looks like.
License plate DY 740.
If this random lady decides to listen,
if she is listening, I feel like pretty shitty, and I was very sad that I hurt her feelings until she called me an entitled something.
No,
fair enough.
And I was being entitled.
Sounds like a worthy adversary.
Water off a duck's back. You're all
good.
All right, that wraps it up for this Winner's Circle Monday. Make sure you're following us on all the socials. I am at Big Drive Spence. He is at Big Drive Mitch. She is at Marisias11. Follow us on Insta at Big Drive Energy Pod. We just gave away Blue Cheese Player Plus Speaker. We're going to be doing more giveaways like that throughout the summer. Check us out on the TikTok. Watch How Not To. Check in for a scramble from Saturday at Big Drive Energy Pod. We'll talk to you guys on Wednesday. Full preview of the PGA Championship. Early, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. We'll be here. Peace.
Peace.